Hello, Chosen One. Have you ever had that feeling that something greater is happening around you? As if the world you know is not all that exists. Perhaps you have felt a presence, an invisible touch, or even noticed signs that seem to come from another place. This may be an indication that the veil between the spiritual world and the physical is becoming thinner. Today, we are going to talk about this very special phenomenon and what it means for those who have been called by God. The falling of the veil is something that many have been feeling lately. It's as if a curtain that separates the visible from the invisible is being pulled back, allowing us to see beyond what the eyes can perceive. For the chosen ones, this is not just a spiritual event, but an invitation, a call to connect more deeply with the purpose that God has for your life. When the veil weakens, the spiritual world becomes more accessible, and this can bring transformative experiences. You may begin to notice signs, feel presences, or even receive messages that once seemed impossible to understand. But along with this opening comes the challenge of understanding what is happening. It is normal to feel a bit of fear or confusion. After all, the unknown can be frightening. However, remember, God never leaves us alone. He sends His angels to protect and guide us, as it is written in Psalms 91:11. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. These moments are an opportunity to trust even more in the divine plan and to strengthen your faith. If you are here, listening to this message, know that it is not by chance. God has something special in store for you, and understanding the falling of the veil can be an important step in this journey. So, stay with me until the end, because we will explore together what this means and how you can take advantage of this moment to grow spiritually. Before we continue, I want to ask you something very important. Subscribe to the channel right now. This way, you won't miss any content that we have prepared with so much care to strengthen your faith and help you understand the mysteries of the spiritual world. Let's walk together on this journey. Chosen One, have you ever felt that there is something beyond what your eyes can see? As if the world around you is deeper, fuller of meanings than it seems. This feeling may be a reflection of what we call the falling of the veil. But what does this really mean? The falling of the veil is the weakening of the barrier that separates the physical world from the spiritual. Imagine that there is a very thin curtain between these two worlds. This curtain prevents us from perceiving what happens on the spiritual side, but at certain moments it begins to become lighter and more transparent. It's as if, suddenly, you could see beyond what physical eyes can perceive. This is the moment when the veil begins to fall. But why does this happen? The falling of the veil is not something random. It is a spiritual movement that occurs to bring us closer to something greater, to connect us with the purpose that God has for our lives. When the veil becomes thinner, it's as if we are being called to pay attention to something we previously ignored. It is an invitation to look beyond what is visible, to realize that the physical world is not all that exists. Have you ever felt that something around you has changed, even though everything seems the same? Perhaps you have noticed a different sensation, as if something greater is happening, something you cannot explain. This may be a sign that the veil is falling. When this happens, we begin to perceive things that were previously hidden. It could be a feeling of peace, a stronger intuition, or even a sense that there is something or someone guiding us. The falling of the veil is, above all, an opportunity. It is a moment when we are called to pay attention to what really matters. Often, we are so busy with the worries of everyday life that we forget to look inward, to reflect on what is happening on a deeper level. When the veil falls, we are invited to slow down, to listen more, to feel more. It is a moment of connection, understanding, and growth. But at the same time, the falling of the veil can bring challenges. When we begin to perceive the spiritual world, it is normal to feel a bit of fear or confusion. After all, we are dealing with something we do not fully understand. The unknown can be frightening, but it is also an opportunity to trust. To trust that there is something greater taking care of us, that we are being guided and protected, even if we cannot see everything clearly. This moment of transition, when the veil begins to fall, is a call for the chosen ones. It's as if we are being prepared for something greater, something that goes beyond what we can comprehend right now. It is an invitation to look beyond difficulties, to realize that there is a purpose in everything that happens. When the veil falls, we are called to connect with that purpose, to understand that we are not alone, and that there are greater forces working in our favor. So what should you do when you notice that the veil is falling? First, it is important to be attentive. Pay attention to the signs around you, to the sensations you have, to the changes that seem small but carry a greater meaning. Second, trust. Even if you do not understand everything that is happening, know that this is part of a greater plan. And finally, take this moment to grow. The falling of the veil is an opportunity to connect more deeply with what truly matters, to reflect on your life, your choices, and your purpose. Chosen one, if you feel that something is changing around you, that the world seems deeper, fuller of meanings, know that this is not by chance. The falling of the veil is a gift, a chance to see beyond what is visible, to connect with something greater. Take this moment to reflect, to seek more understanding, and to strengthen your trust in what is to come. Now I ask you, have you ever had the feeling that something around you has changed, even though everything seems the same? As if the environment, the people, or even the everyday situations had a different weight, a depth that you didn't perceive before. This may be a sign that the veil between the physical world and the spiritual is becoming thinner, allowing these two dimensions to intersect more clearly. When the veil begins to fall, the physical and spiritual worlds cease to be so separate. It's as if the two realities start to blend, and you begin to feel that something greater is at work. Situations that once seemed ordinary may start to carry a deeper meaning. An unexpected encounter, a word that touches your heart, or even a sense of peace amidst chaos, can be signs that the spiritual world is manifesting more clearly in your life. But how does this happen? As the veil becomes thinner, the chosen ones begin to perceive that the physical world is not all that exists. It's as if God is calling us to see beyond what is visible, to realize that there is something greater happening behind the scenes. This perception can come in various forms. A stronger intuition, a feeling that you are not alone, or even a change in how you view the things around you. Have you ever gone through a situation where everything seemed to be going wrong, but suddenly something happened and everything began to fall into place? Or perhaps you felt an inexplicable peace in a moment of difficulty, as if something or someone was supporting you. These moments can be signs that the spiritual world is intersecting with the physical, bringing messages, protection, and guidance into your life. For the chosen ones, these signs are not just coincidences. They are a call, an invitation to pay attention to what is happening around you, and to seek a deeper understanding of your mission. When the physical and spiritual worlds intersect, it's as if God is reminding us that we have a greater purpose, something that goes beyond the worries and challenges of everyday life. But how can we perceive these signs? First, it is important to be attentive. Often we are so busy with our routines that we do not notice what is happening around us. When the veil begins to fall, it is essential to slow down and pay attention to the details. It could be a word someone says, a feeling you have, or even a thought that comes out of nowhere. These small moments can carry important messages if we are willing to listen to them. Additionally, it is important to trust your intuition. When the spiritual world intersects with the physical, you may begin to feel things that you cannot explain. Perhaps you feel a presence beside you, or you have the impression that something is guiding you. These feelings may be signs that the veil is becoming thinner, and that you are being called to pay attention to what truly matters. Another important point is to seek a deeper connection with your purpose. When the physical and spiritual worlds intersect, it is a moment of reflection. Ask yourself, what is God trying to show me? What is the purpose of this in my life? These moments of intersection between the two dimensions are opportunities for growth, learning, and strengthening your faith. But chosen one, it is important to remember that it will not always be easy. When the veil falls, you may feel fear or confusion. After all, we are dealing with something we do not fully understand. The unknown can be frightening, but it is also an opportunity to trust. To trust that there is something greater taking care of you, that you are being guided and protected, even if you cannot understand everything that is happening. This intersection between the physical and spiritual worlds is a reminder that we are not alone. It is a call to realize that there is something greater at work, something that is working for our good, even if we cannot see it clearly. It is an invitation to trust in the divine plan and to seek a deeper understanding of our mission. So what should you do when you notice that the physical and spiritual worlds are crossing? First, be attentive. Pay attention to the signs around you, to the sensations you have, to the changes that seem small but carry a greater meaning. Second, trust. Even if you do not understand everything that is happening, know that this is part of a greater plan. And finally, take this moment to grow. This intersection is an opportunity to connect more deeply with what truly matters, to reflect on your life, your choices, and your purpose. I want to emphasize that this idea of something that separates the visible from the invisible is ancient and universal. Since the earliest times, the veil has been used as a symbol to represent the barrier between what we can see and what is beyond our understanding. But when this veil falls, something extraordinary happens. We are invited to explore higher dimensions and reconnect with truths that were previously hidden. The falling of the veil is not just a spiritual phenomenon. It is a call. For the chosen ones, it is a unique opportunity to see beyond what is physical, to realize that there is something greater at work. It is as if God is telling us, now is the time to look at what really matters, to connect with the purpose I have for you. This moment is a gift, a chance to understand that the world is not limited to what we see, but that there is a spiritual reality that surrounds us and influences us. When the veil falls, we are challenged to look within ourselves and at the world around us with new eyes. The truths that were once hidden begin to reveal themselves, and this can completely transform the way we see life. It is as if a light is turned on in a dark room, allowing us to see things that were previously concealed. For the chosen ones, this is not just a spiritual experience, but an opportunity for growth, learning, and alignment with the divine purpose. But the meaning of the falling of the veil goes beyond simply perceiving the spiritual world. It is an invitation to act. When we begin to see things more clearly, we are called to fulfill our role, to live according to the purpose that God has placed in our lives. This is the moment to leave behind distractions and focus on what truly matters. It is the moment to trust, to surrender, and to allow God to guide your steps. Thus, the falling of the veil is more than an event. It is an opportunity for transformation. Take this moment to reconnect with the truths that were hidden and to fulfill the calling that God has for you. Now, this question is very important because there are impressive reports about it. Have you ever felt as if someone was by your side during the most difficult moments? As if an invisible force was protecting you, comforting you, or guiding you? This feeling is more common than you might think, especially for those who have been called by God. Many chosen ones report feeling this protective presence during challenging times, and this can be a clear sign that the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is opening. When the veil becomes thinner, the spiritual world draws closer to us more evidently. This presence you feel may be that of angels, sent by God to protect and guide you. They are always around us, even if we cannot see them, fulfilling the divine purpose of guarding us in all our ways. This proximity is proof that spiritual forces are working in your favor, especially in the moments when you need it most. In times of difficulty, feeling this presence is a powerful reminder that you are not alone. God, in His infinite goodness, sends His messengers to help us overcome challenges and to remind us that He is in control. This sense of spiritual closeness is a gift, a way to experience God's care and love in a tangible way. The presence of spiritual beings in the Bible. The Bible is filled with accounts that show how God sends His angels and messengers to protect and guide the chosen ones. These examples help us understand that this spiritual presence is not something new, but a manifestation of divine care that has always been present in the history of humanity. Protective angels, Psalm 91:11. Psalm 91:11 reminds us, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This verse is a clear promise that God sends His angels to protect us. They are around us, even if we cannot see them, fulfilling the mission of guarding us and delivering us from evil. How many times have you gone through a situation where it seemed that something or someone was protecting you? Perhaps it was an accident avoided by seconds, or a decision you made without knowing you were being guided to the right path. These moments can be manifestations of God's angels, working silently to protect you. Divine visions, Elijah and the chariots of fire, 2 Kings 6:17. Another powerful example is in 2 Kings 6:17, when the prophet Elisha prays for God to open his servant's eyes, allowing him to see the spiritual world. The servant then sees chariots and horses of fire surrounding them, protecting them from their enemies. This vision was a clear proof that God had already sent His protection, even before they could perceive it. Just like Elisha's servant, we often cannot see what is happening in the spiritual world. But that does not mean that God is not acting. When we feel the presence of something greater around us, it is as if our spiritual eyes are being opened, allowing us to perceive the divine protection that has always been there. Angels in moments of despair, Jesus in Gethsemane, Luke 22:43. In Jesus' most difficult moment, in the Garden of Gethsemane, an angel was sent to strengthen him. In Luke 22:43, we read, "And there appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthening him." This is a clear example of how God sends His messengers to help us in our times of greatest need. Have you ever gone through a moment when you felt an inexplicable strength to continue, even when everything seemed lost? Just as Jesus was strengthened by an angel, we too can experience this divine help in our lives. God knows exactly what we need, and at the right moment, He sends His messengers to sustain us. Protection in times of danger. Daniel in the lion's den, Daniel 6:22. When Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions and protect him. In Daniel 6:22, He declares, "My God sent His angel, and shut the lions' mouths, so that they have not hurt me. This is a powerful example of how God intervenes directly to protect those who trust in Him. In moments when we feel surrounded by dangers, we can remember this story and trust that God is sending His protection. Just as Daniel was guarded in the lion's den, we too can be protected from situations that seem impossible to overcome. Divine messengers, Mary and the angel Gabriel, Luke 1:26-38. When Mary received the news that she would be the mother of Jesus, it was the angel Gabriel who brought the message. He came to comfort her, guide her, and explain the divine purpose for her life. This encounter shows that angels not only protect, but also bring important messages from God. Have you ever had a moment when you felt that something was being revealed to you, as if a clear message was being delivered to your heart? Just as Mary received the visit from Gabriel, God can use His messengers to guide us and help us understand the purpose He has for our lives. The biblical examples we have explored show us that the presence of angels and spiritual beings is not something distant or inaccessible. They are around us, working in our favor, even if we cannot see them. This spiritual reality is a constant reminder that God is taking care of us in ways we do not always understand. Angels are a manifestation of divine love and protection, sent to help us on our journey, especially in times of greatest need. Angels play a fundamental role in our spiritual walk. They protect us, guide us, and strengthen us, fulfilling specific missions that God entrusts to them. When the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds becomes thinner, we can perceive this presence more clearly. This closeness is a gift from God to the chosen ones, an opportunity to experience divine care in a more direct and tangible way. Often, the presence of angels manifests in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. It may be a feeling of peace amidst chaos, an intuition that guides us in the right direction, or even a thought that arises out of nowhere and brings comfort. These moments are signs that the spiritual world is manifesting around us, that angels are fulfilling their role of protecting, guiding, and strengthening us. They are like invisible guardians, always alert, ready to act on our behalf. But it is important to remember that this presence is not something we should fear. Angels are here to help us, to remind us that we are never alone. When we feel this closeness, it is a moment to give thanks, to recognize divine care, and to trust that God is in control. This trust is essential for us to face the challenges of life with courage and hope, knowing that we are never helpless. The protection of angels is one of the most evident ways they operate in our lives. They are always around us, guarding us from dangers that we often do not even perceive. How many times have we gone through situations where it seemed that something or someone was protecting us? Perhaps it was an accident avoided by seconds, or a decision we made without knowing we were being guided to the right path. These moments are clear manifestations of angelic protection, a reminder that God is taking care of us in ways we do not always understand. In addition to protecting us, angels also have the role of guiding us. They are messengers of God, sent to help us find the right path and fulfill the divine purpose in our lives. Often, this guidance comes in subtle forms, like an intuition or a thought that arises out of nowhere and directs us to the best decision. Other times, it may be clearer, like a message we feel in our hearts. This guidance is essential for us to move forward, even in moments of uncertainty. In times of greatest difficulty, when we feel we have no strength to continue, angels also have the role of strengthening us. They are sent by God to give us courage, hope, and energy to face challenges. This strength can manifest in various ways: a feeling of peace amidst chaos, a word of comfort that arrives at the right moment, or even an inner strength that helps us move forward. These moments are a reminder that God is taking care of us, sending His messengers to sustain us. When the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds becomes thinner, we can perceive the presence of angels more clearly. This closeness is a gift from God, an opportunity to experience divine care in a more direct way. But to perceive this presence, it is important to be attentive. Often we are so busy with the worries of everyday life that we do not notice what is happening around us. When we slow down and pay attention to the details, we can begin to recognize the signs of angelic presence in our lives. Additionally, it is important to trust. Even if we cannot see the angels, we can be sure that they are around us, working in our favor. This trust helps us face challenges with more courage and hope, knowing that we are never alone. Angels are a manifestation of God's love, a reminder that He is always by our side, taking care of us in ways we do not always understand. When we recognize the role of angels in our lives, it is a moment to give thanks. Thank God for sending His messengers to protect us, guide us, and strengthen us. This gratitude helps us connect more deeply with the divine purpose and trust that God is taking care of us at all times. It is an invitation to reflect on our lives, on the choices we are making, and to seek a deeper connection with God. Chosen one, angels play a fundamental role in your spiritual journey. They are by your side, working in your favor, even if you cannot see them. When you feel the closeness of something greater, remember that this is a gift from God, a manifestation of His care and love. Trust, be attentive, and allow the angels to guide and strengthen you at every step of your journey. After all, you have been chosen for something greater, and God is taking care of you at all times. This angelic presence is a reminder that we are never alone. Even in the most difficult moments when everything seems to be falling apart, we can trust that God is in control. Angels are proof of divine care, a manifestation of God's love for us. They are here to help us, to protect us, to guide us, and to strengthen us. When we feel this closeness, it is a moment to give thanks, to recognize divine care, and to trust that God is always by our side. So allow yourself to feel this presence, to recognize the signs, and to trust in divine care. Angels are around you, working in your favor, even if you cannot see them. They are a gift from God, a manifestation of His love and care. Trust, be attentive, and allow the angels to guide and strengthen you at every step of your journey. After all, you have been chosen for something greater, and God is taking care of you at all times. When we perceive the falling of the veil, it is natural to feel apprehensive. The unknown can generate fear, especially when we face significant changes in our lives or when we begin to perceive the presence of spiritual forces that were previously hidden. This feeling of uncertainty is common, but for the chosen ones, it is a moment to trust in the greater plan that God has for each of us. Instead of allowing fear to paralyze us, we should see it as an opportunity for growth and transformation. The fear of the unknown is a natural human response. It can manifest in various forms: anxiety, insecurity, doubts about the future, and even the feeling of being lost. When the veil begins to fall, these emotions can intensify as we confront the reality that there is much more at stake than we imagined. However, it is crucial to understand that this fear can be transformed into an opportunity for spiritual growth. For the chosen ones, the fear of the unknown can be an invitation to deepen faith. Instead of allowing fear to control us, we can choose to trust in God and His plan for our lives. This trust is an act of faith that allows us to face the unknown with courage and determination. When we surrender to God, we acknowledge that He is in control, even when we cannot see the way ahead. In moments of uncertainty, it is vital to remember that God is always present. He never abandons us, even when we feel lost or confused. The presence of God is a constant source of comfort and strength. When we face the fear of the unknown, we can turn to Him for guidance and support. Prayer is a powerful way to connect with God and express our concerns and fears. Additionally, reading the Scriptures can offer us comfort and wisdom. Many biblical passages speak about the importance of trusting in God in times of uncertainty. These words can remind us that, even when we do not understand what is happening, God has a plan for us and is working in our favor. The falling of the veil is an opportunity to cultivate hope and trust in God. When we encounter the unknown, we can choose to see it as a chance for growth and transformation. This shift in perspective allows us to face challenges with a positive and open attitude. Instead of focusing on what we do not know, we can focus on what we do know, that God is with us and that He has a purpose for our lives. Cultivating hope also involves practicing gratitude. When we thank God for the blessings in our lives, even in difficulties, we are acknowledging His presence and care. This practice helps us maintain a positive perspective and trust that regardless of what the future holds, God is in control. Facing the fear of the unknown is a natural part of the spiritual journey. When we perceive the falling of the veil, it is normal to feel apprehensive. But for the chosen ones, it is a moment to trust in the greater plan that God has for us. Instead of allowing fear to paralyze us, we should see it as an opportunity for growth and transformation. The falling of the veil is a chance to connect more deeply with our divine purpose and to renew our trust in God. By facing the unknown with courage, faith, and hope, we can experience the constant presence of God in our lives. Chosen one, if you feel that something around you is changing, that spiritual presences are closer, or that challenges are being overcome in an inexplicable way, know that the veil may be opening for you. Take this moment to strengthen your faith and trust that you are never alone. The angels and spiritual beings are by your side, ready to guide and protect you at every step of your journey. These experiences are valuable opportunities to grow in understanding and connection with the divine. By recognizing the presence of God in your life, you open yourself to a new level of spirituality and purpose. Do not hesitate to share your experience in the comments. Your story may inspire others to also recognize God's action in their lives. Let us explore this spiritual journey together, supporting one another and celebrating the blessings we receive. Remember that each challenge overcome is a testimony of divine care. Trust that, even in uncertainties, God is always present, guiding and strengthening you. This is a moment of transformation and renewal, and you are exactly where you need to be.